Alright, on the ropes out here with the new signee for Matchroom, man, Jalil Major Hackett, man. This morning you was on the Boxing Voice, man. Let's talk about that starting out, man. Everybody reaching out during this time, all the excitement, the news, the buzz, close to 300,000 views on the Matchroom's Twitter site, or X, or whatever you want to call it, that people are loving the new signee Jalil Major Hackett. Let's talk about it.
First I want to start off by saying, thank you to Eddie and Matchroom, for picking me up. It's very big, leaving from one big promoter to another big promoter. In the fashion that I did, timely. It wasn't like, it took a while. It was like, from one straight to the next one. So that was real good, and the feedback it's getting has been real good too. A lot of the fans are excited. They can't wait to see what's next.
Jalil, let's talk about it. During the recruiting process of you finding a new home, you listened to different offers from different promotional companies. What was the deciding factor for you in signing with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom?
I did hear everyone out. Anybody who shot an offer, from the very, very top guys to the very, very bottom promoters, I heard everybody out. The deciding factor with Matchroom was they had an overall plan. Coming in the door, they let me know, we want you to do this, that, and the third, and that's going to lead to this, that, and the third. So that was really the deciding factor for me. I liked their plan. They had a plan, and that it made sense for both of us.
With that being said, Jalil, a lot of people have left Mayweather Promotions. One of them, Richardson Henderson, and one of the things he talked about over at Matchroom was the fact that what he loved about it was having a schedule, knowing when he was going to fight. How important is that to a fighter, having a schedule, knowing when he's going to fight?
That's very important. I think of it like, if you're fighting and, you come off of a great fight, and as you're walking back to your dressing room, they're telling you, you're going to fight such and such in such and such weeks, or such and such on this date right here. It's almost like your mind is, you already forgot about the fight you were just in. You already focusing on your next fight, compared to, you fight, and then you wait, and then you wait, and then you wait, and nothing. I don't know too many fighters that live at their weight. Some guys live, 10, 15 pounds, from weight. But it's very, very hard to prepare to fight a fighter when you get to a certain level, and really get prepared for a fight in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Dude's telling you have a fight in 3 weeks. In the situation with Matchroom, it's a schedule. So only person that can throw the schedule off is you, the fighter. So yeah, that's I like that a lot about them.
Let me ask you, because a lot of people would ask me or talk about it in the comments, why aren't they promoting Jalil enough over at Mayweather Promotions? It's going back now. Just to give a timeline of, we're not shitting on Mayweather Promotions or none of that, but I just wanted to give a timeline for people to understand your time at Mayweather Promotions and why you made the moves that you made now in your career. Going back with Mayweather Promotions, I remember Mickey Bay talking about his experience. Did you ever see that interview where he was talking about his experience over at Mayweather Promotions? I think it was with the Boxing Voice, I believe, and Trill Boxing, just talking about his experience. Did you feel, because I heard Ness talking about this morning how Eddie loves to promote his fighters on his Instagram, his personal page, the Matchroom, the Zone. That's one of the big things that he loves to do, is promote the fighters that he has. A lot of people felt like they weren't getting promoted like they should with Mayweather Promotions. Did you feel the same way during that time?
All right, you talked about a timeline. Let's go through a timeline. We can start this timeline as far back as really, when I first turned pro. So, all right, I turned pro in March of 2021. You know, they signed me along with a few other young fighters. I make my pro debut in June of 2021. Floyd fights in the exhibition against Logan Paul. Make my debut in there. That goes great. They allow me to have a fight back at home. They allow me to come home and fight. I have my second fight at home. Another great fight, get a win. Then I turn right around, you know, immediate turnaround, and fight in December of 2021 on Gervonta Davis's card when he fights Isaac Cruz. So first few months as a pro, everything's good. You know, I was active. I fought in June, October, and then I fought in December. That's active. That's good. You like that. And then it seemed like when things kind of stirred up with Floyd and Tank, I think that's when things started to slow down. Cause like they were having their stir-ups, and Tank was saying, "Oh, this is gonna be my last fight with Mayweather Promotions," and you know, that was the slowdown. I ended up fighting in May of 2022 when Tank fought Rolly, which was his last fight with Floyd in Mayweather Promotions, and after that, it was nothing. I was not offered a fight or anything like that all the way until December of 2022. You know, things that were out of my control made it where I did not fight in December of 2022. It was so crazy. I weighed in and everything. The morning of, they said, "Oh, you're not fighting." So that was that. And then it was like a situation of like, all right, you know, you're not fighting. We'll get you another date soon. Then Coach Calvin and Coach Kenny, huge thanks to them. They went out of their way to make sure that I was able to come back home and fight again in January of 2023 when Gervonta fought Hector Garcia at Capital One Arena. You know, huge thanks to them. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have been on that card.
Hey, Jalil, our guy, man. I mean,
Bad
out of
boy.
all the years I
Bad
know his
boy.
dad, out of all the years I know his dad a true friend. A true friend. Because when I call him, he show up for me. When I need to talk to him about something, he picks up the phone.
They made that happen. And then, you know, we skip ahead to April of 2023. Another huge thanks to Coach Calvin and Coach Kenny and Gervonta. They made it possible to where I was on the card where Tank fought Ryan Garcia. Then Tank, you know, he's trying to, you know, start up his own promotional thing and everything like that. They get me on another card in August of 2023. Mind you, in 2023, I still hadn't been offered a fight from Mayweather Promotions. So like when I was telling them like I'm getting these opportunities to fight, they were like cool, and much thanks to them because there's a lot of promoters that wouldn't have allowed that. So yeah, I ended up fighting. That was my third fight that I got, basically we could say on my own without them, of 2023. And then we get to December where I fight for the WBC youth title. I let it be known that I wanted to fight, you know, again, let it be known that there's a possibility that I can fight for a belt. And they just was like, you know, basically, cool, we not offering you anything, so just go ahead. And you hear a lot of times they say, "Oh, you with Floyd, how did you fight in December on that card that was a red out card, but it was, you know, broadcasted on the zone?" And I tell people, I say, they didn't have anything to offer me, and it's almost like they didn't even care. So, you know, that's another fight that, once again, had to get on my own. My dad and my dad's close friend, Coach Pat, those two guys are the main reason why I ended up fighting in December and why I was able to fight for a belt in December, you know. So much thanks to them as well. But after that, 2024 comes around. Fresh off of the December fight, let's go back. Fresh off of the December fight, I was told to stay prepared because you're going to be fighting again in January. That didn't happen. They didn't even ask, how are you, everything like that. It was just stay prepared because you're going to fight in January. I didn't even let it be known to them that, I had a slight injury in the fight. But, they didn't care. I knew that despite them telling me I'm going to fight in January, I'm not going to fight. So they tell me I'm going to fight in January, didn't fight. Tell me I'm going to fight in February, did not fight. Tell me I'm going to fight in March on the Tim Tszyu, and at the time it was Keith Thurman. They tell me I'm going to fight on that card. Time goes by, end up not being on that card. So, I feel like that was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back for me. I was like, man, I gotta fight. I gotta go somewhere where they tell me I'm fighting and I actually end up fighting. So that was a part of my decision to part ways with Mayweather Promotions.
Now I gotta ask you this, Jalil. Were you surprised from what you see right now on the PBC side at the 47, where you see Earl moving up, you see not Terrence, not part of the PBC, but you see the old guard moving up, the 47s up to the 54s, and with them looking for the next face for the 47 class, are you surprised they didn't push hard enough to try to sign you on the PBC side of things? Okay, I gotta ask you about this.
What's that?
Your youngster Jalil, top 38 in the world, man.
Jalil Hackett next up. Let me tell you something. I seen that boy run a lot of people about that ring. I ain't calling no names, but Al Hammond needs to do his research and find out who the real dog is. Jalil Hackett, man.
Only 8 fights.
20 years old, man.
20 years old, 8 fights.
You can bet on that. You can bet on that kid because he's gonna be there every round. He coming out like a pit bull.
Am I surprised? They tried. They just, like you said, I just feel like they didn't try hard enough. And then my biggest thing and my team's biggest thing was, what's the plan? And it was no real plan. So,
Is that like you said, we go back to that, the importance of a schedule, because like I said, just going on the site, I noticed there wasn't any thing on the schedule after Tank's fight on that's taking place on June 15th. As far as the PBC thing is on the schedule, we've heard talks about the Earl Spence versus Fondor, but nothing is really set. Whereas, like you said, what you've seen with Eddie and Matchroom and having probably the backing also with Turka Al-Sheikh and the money situation, that you're going to be a more active fighter, and those chances of the things that you want to accomplish will happen more sooner than later. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes, you are correct. It all goes back to what I was saying in the beginning. It's a plan. So my dad always say, he who fails to plan plans to fail. So if y'all don't have a plan, then it's bound to go wrong because you don't even know what you're doing. You're just freestyling. But if you have a plan and things slip up in the plan, there's always, I'm sure it's always contingencies plans for things like that. So
now, being a new signee on Matchroom, I know a lot of people, because I actually heard you talking about it on the Boxing Voice this morning, was with the boot situation, with him being signed to Matchroom also as well. But you talked about that, him being a class ahead of you as far as when you came in. That he's part of that generation that's right behind Earl and Bud, and you behind that generation of boots. With that being said, we've heard a lot of people bring you up with Brian Norman Jr. and the possibility of that in about a year and a half, 2 years. Talk about that possibility of a future matchup with Brian Norman Jr. at 147 and possibly in like a year and a half, 2 years.
That's a great matchup. Like I've said time and time before, and I'll say it again, Brian's a hell of a fighter. Going into the fight, they had him as a huge underdog, and I was surprised because I thought he was going to win the fight. I didn't think he was going to knock him out, but I definitely thought he was going to win the fight easy. So for him to go out there and do what he did, hats off to him and his dad and his team. But that's a fight that I really do like going down the line. You know, as like some sort of a unification bout at 147. You know.
With that, in order for that to happen, man, you right over there on the WBC side of things. And with that being said, you got Mario Barrios sitting there. You've always said you would not hesitate to take that fight with Mario Barrios at this time.
Right now, I wouldn't hesitate to fight anybody at like that 147 range. If it ain't Bud, Boots, or Earl, like, there's nobody that I'm hesitant about fighting right now.
Being a new signee on Matchroom, man, a lot of people probably going to be wondering or asking, man, are you going to be on that Boots card that's taking place up there in Philly?
Right now, I'm waiting on them to let me know a date. As soon as they put a date out, then I'll definitely, let everybody know.
Would you like that opportunity?
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. I look up to Boots and his dad. A lot of times I go up there and train with them, even if it's not for sparring, just, taking pointers from them.
Once you had signed with Matchroom, what was, did they reach out? Any words, congratulations from Bozy or Boots about the signing over with Matchroom?
They seen it coming. They kind of spoke it into existence. So, yes.
Did they ever talk to Eddie about you?
Yes.
What was the conversations like with, have you had a chance to personally talk with Eddie yet?
Briefly. But he likes me as a young fighter, and he really says, like, I got like big plans for you. We both got to do our part. But if you do your part and I do my part, this gonna be a real fruitful and special relationship.
With you having a situation signing with Matchroom at this time, you always say you want to be a champion, man. What's the timeline or the process for you to get that belt? Currently, right now, you're the WBC youth champion at 147. There's probably a couple of other belts out there also as well, with the Intercontinental, International, and I think in Continental.
There's a lot of small,
steps to get you to that next step.
I always say, brick by brick. Rome wasn't built in a day. So, we gonna take the small steps first. Probably get one of those Intercontinental belts. Maybe like an international belt, something like that. And I think give it about 18 to 24 months so you can see me in a world title.
Wow, man. I want to say congratulations, man. Well deserved. Man, you had a chance to really show the maturity level in the situation that you were going through at the time in your previous contract, man. And one of the biggest things was you advocated for was the mental health aspects, man. And talk about that also as well, man, going forward.
During that time, and even really before I even left Mayweather Promotions, was talking about leaving Mayweather Promotions, people don't even know it was a lot going on. A lot of guys was questioning, like, oh, are you still a 47? Because the vast majority of 2023, I fought at 54. And I was just, people don't know. It takes a lot to be a fighter, mentally and physically. And mentally, I wasn't there all the way to prepare to, be my best self as a fighter at 147. So yes, I did take 3 of my 4 fights of 2023 at 154 because I wasn't all the way myself. So I wasn't giving it 1,000% like I usually do in the gym. This wasn't the 100% focus. This wasn't the focus.
Was that because you were frustrated?
Frustration, once again, a lot of broken promises, responsibilities of life, those type of things, they come up and they build up, and this wasn't the focus. This wasn't the focus. So, yeah.
Man, like I said, man, once again, I truly appreciate your time. Man, I see big things for you over there with Eddie and Matchroom, and hopefully, man, we can get you on that day on that Boots card in July, man, close to home.
Yeah, definitely, man. Like I said, when they announce it, make sure, wherever or whenever I fight, make sure y'all tune in live, to the Zone Boxing to watch me put on a show like y'all been waiting for.
There you have it, Jalil Major Hackett, the WBC Youth Champion at 147, straight out of Washington, D.C., 8-0, 7 KOs, man. We out.